Let's set this sinking ship on fire, shall we? Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and way too many opinions. And today we're gonna go over quite a lot of those. Little disclaimer, I am not legally representing anyone. Again, just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and too many opinions. I'm not stating any of these as facts, anything like that. This is just me basically reading over some documents, some legal documents. I'm not stating these legal documents as fact. This is just my understanding of the situation. Don't try to sue me again, Monat. So you might be asking, girl, why are we here? What are we doing? Because the girlies are fighting. The top girl bosses, if you will. They fightin'. And there's nothing that I love more than a scammy empire setting itself ablaze. So let's get started, shall we? So if y'all don't know, the ex-president of Monat, a multi-level marketing company that is, in my opinion, a commercial cult. It's my pride and joy, really. It's how I got into anti-scam content. It's how it's how I got that. It's how this became my job, is because I can't shut up about this company. It's so messy, and not to say I told you so, but girl bosses, I told you so. I'm not crazy. I am, but still. So Monat, a multi-level marketing company, in my opinion, a commercial cult, is being set ablaze from the inside. I mean, I'm fanning the flame, of course, girl. I'm sitting there with one of those accordion thingies, those accordion air pumpers, it's being set ablaze from the inside. So, Stuart MacMillan, good old Stu, my boy Stu. Hey, Stu. Stu, I know you're watching. Hi, Stu. I know you're watching, boo. I know. Stu, I know you're here. Anyways, appreciate it, support it. Obviously, and I've even told him this as well. Listen, I stand by every single thing I have said about Monat and you and the market partners previously in all my videos, all my content. However, like in this show, I got your back. You have my support. Two things can be true at once. He resigned from Monat last year and it was kind of pushed under the rug, whatever. And then in April of this year, due to him not receiving a payment that he was supposed to, apparently, from Monat, as stated in their contract that they had, apparently, good old Stu boy was like, hey, guess what? I'm suing you. And it has brought out a lot of, not even ridiculous, but like crazy wild allegations that are beautiful. I mean, I hate it for the people involved, but beautiful. Before we get too far into this video, we need to talk about something that really matters. Size. You know it and I know it. It matters. It's a serious thing. And not all injury law firms are the same. Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They have won a lot. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. And Morgan & Morgan does not settle for lowball offers. Insurance companies often lowball clients' claims, and Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you the money that you deserve. In just the last couple of months, Morgan & Morgan saw verdicts of $12 million in Florida, which is 34 times the highest insurance offer, $26 million in Philadelphia, which is 40 times the biggest offer, and then $6.8 million in New York, which is 25 times the highest insurance offer. And the fee is absolutely free unless you win. So don't overthink it. Take action to protect your rights. Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you the compensation that you deserve. Morgan & Morgan has modernized the injury law process so you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your smartphone. Did you know that you can start a claim with America's largest injury law firm with just one click on your smartphone? Did you know that? Well, you can do so by going to www.forthepeople.com/CCSUAREZ. So start your claim with Morgan & Morgan by clicking the link in the description box. That's www.forthepeople.com/CCSUAREZ.
Size matters.
Good job. So, of course, as one does when you file this claim, file this suit, the Urdanettas, the founders, the owners of Monat, Daddy Monat and Baby Monat, Louis and Ray Urdaneta, they were like, nah, Uno reverse, we counterclaim you. So today we're going to go over that. I haven't really talked much about the suit. I have a little bit. If you want a good breakdown of all of this, please do go over and support Oz at BehindMLM.com. He's amazing. He's wonderful. I appreciate him so much. He condenses all the stuff for you and it's just wonderful. He's great. Get on that mailing list, girlfriend. Like I said, I haven't really talked about this too much. So we're just going to go over like a quick little synopsis, little summary that I made of these claims. Again, I could be completely wrong. I could be misinterpreting all of this completely. All of this is alleged. All of this is supposed, I know it's annoying, but enter legal disclaimer here. All right, so a little synopsis that I have here. Stu built Monat into what it is today, a multi-million-dollar company. There was a profit-sharing agreement between him and the Urdanettas. Stu was underpaid. The Urdanettas planned to dilute and drain the company's profits to limit the profit shared with Stu. So basically, it was, not revenue sharing, it was profit sharing. So if they were able to do all of the write-offs, all the business expenses, God, it sounds like me. It's like this money gun, write-off. I mean, technically, it's a prop for a video, so yes. Bedazzling kit, write-off. Like, girl, stop. Don't come for me, IRS. They already are coming for me, probably. The thing is that allegedly, what this is claiming is that they're, doing all these crazy expenses and, like false business expenses, basically false write-offs to try to lower their profit, right? I feel like y'all know what I'm talking about, and I don't really need to explain that more. But to dilute it, to lower their profits on paper so that they would have to not pay Stu as much. That's what this is claiming. I'm not stating that is truth. They made him sign a non-compete and a non-solicit agreement, possibly to make sure that if he left, he wouldn't take top performing market partners with him that he was close to start his own company, because a lot of the top performing people were very close with him. After he resigned, Stu was supposed to receive a $500,000 payment due or before March 31st, 2024. And obviously they didn't pay that, and that's why we have the original lawsuit, like right after that. The Urdanettas wanted Stu to have no contact with roughly 3,000 Monat employees or like associates, like Monat adjacent people or like Monat employees, something like that, or he wouldn't receive any of those payments. Included on that list of Monat associates with literally like his family members and then people that he's like become really close to, like. So obviously he declined, he being Stu, because that's insane. I literally told him that. Yeah, I was like, Stubert, that's crazy. I really want to call him Stubert, like, to his face. Goal for 2024, meet Stuart MacMillan and call him Stubert. So let's go over the like mismanagement aspect of this. So in his filing, Stu claims that Monat employed Urdanetta insiders, family members, and friends to no-show for like non-existent jobs. So basically like they would be on payroll and be like getting paid, or they'd be getting paid like under the table for a job that literally doesn't exist. Actually, a really good example of this. Don't get mad at me, guys. If you have a business, you understand, okay? So let's say, just for numbers' sake, I am giving Tony $1,000 a month for our shared bills. It's obviously not that, because that's very cheap. Instead of like taking that out of like my paycheck that like I get through like my payroll system, I just pay him that. And like, yes, realistically, does Tony help me with stuff? Obviously, yes. Due to him, I'm able to like actually do this job full time. Is Tony doing things that are his actual like title, which is the Director of Emotional Support? I mean, sure. But listen, so that's kind of like a tax loophole, but to do it like, and then pay people under the table and then have it be like jobs that aren't real, sketchy. Okay. There's a difference between like tax loopholes and like doing stuff legally, but then completely like exploiting it. And like, there's a difference between that and fraud. Which in my opinion, that's what this would be. The Urdanetta is maxed out. Apparently all of Monat's credit cards, the like business credit cards for their personal luxury lifestyle, including private planes, expensive dinners, luxurious travel, and accommodations, including $50,000 room service bills in Dubai. Enter cocaine joke here. Like, what? Boy, excuse me, whomst? One thing that's ironic is that when you do talk to tax, that changes money to money, because like, is the money in the room with us now? No, it's in Dubai, apparently. Monat paid for the family members' friends who did not work for the company to go on company incentive trips, which would basically be like funding family and friend vacations as a business expense. Like, not how that works. Paying their personal and household expenses from Monat bank accounts, paying personal credit card bills, sometimes upwards of $150,000 for a single month. That's insane. Must be on the Amex. For non-business expenses, fake business expenses to lower Monat's profit on paper, therefore lowering Stuart's profit sharing payments or potential profit sharing payments. We already talked about that. Stu regularly advised them that they were violating regulatory governing beauty products and related advertisement requirements and stuff like that. Love that. Not that they were doing that, but like that someone was trying to fix it, hopefully. Employing individuals who were residing in the United States illegally, obviously illegal, not good, but also they gotta work. Come on. Gotta do something. And hey, there needs to be a more clear and easier way to get your citizenship, or green card or work visa, whatever. Not time for a soapbox. Okay, so creating a hostile work environment. Any complaints from employees, independent contractors, market partners were met with skepticism, criticism, and retaliation. Treating Monat like a mafia family behind the scenes. That's extremely culty and not okay, obviously. And then let's talk about the pandemic boom revenue aspect of this, which is hilarious because apparently the Urdanettas said, allegedly, whatever, the Urdanettas were like, oh no, we don't need to show you the books for 2020 because that wasn't a real year. Didn't exist. Finger guns. Got it. Monat had its best year in 2020 with revenues exceeding 800 million and profit exceeding 35 million. That's pretty crazy. In 2020 and 2021, the Urdanettas drained nearly all profits from Monat and left Monat with minimal retained earnings. That's crazy. They appropriated around $100 million since Monat was founded. Misused, squandered, if you will. The Urdanettas insisted on increasing revenue at any expense, cutting commissions to market partners. What do you know? And delaying payments to suppliers. Could that have possibly been the reason why they changed ingredients too? Who knows? Not me, allegedly. And of course, as a result, morale went right down the pooper. And then also more culty things. So Stu hosted this is really, really crazy to me. So Stu hosted a Zoom call in December 2023, so this past Christmas. And he did a holiday toast with some of his friends and colleagues for Monat, including his daughter, who is a Monat employee. And they did not discuss business at all. And when the Urdanettas found out about this, they fired Stu's daughter and then were trying apparently to use that as an excuse to not pay Stu the money that he's owed. That's wild, if it's true. Then the Urdanettas state, apparently, allegedly, all that Monat's products are irrelevant. Baby, I've been saying that for years. And for a Monat to be successful, Monat employees and independent contract market partners must completely forget about their previous leader, Stu MacMillan, and be loyal and dedicated to Monat's new leader, Ray Urdaneta, which is Baby Urdaneta. And allegedly, Ray Urdaneta describes Monat to be more like a cult than a business. Ray, why do we have the same opinions? I never thought me and Ray Urdaneta would be agreeing on something. According to Ray Urdaneta, MacMillan hosting a religious event at church focused on faith, work-life balance, and marriage would be a threat to Monat because it may disrupt worship of Monat and its new leader. And then the filing goes on to say, these demands are unlawful or not legally binding, whatever. And then it says, the demands are bizarre and highly unusual. Love the sass. Y'all know I love legal sass. And that's, all these things are, is just legal sass. So basically the counts are breach of contract, constructive fraud, but there's multiple, but it's more so just breach of contract, breach of duty of good faith and fair dealing. Basically, you're not doing business good, you're being an you are breaching this contract that we had signed and going against it and trying to get out of it. And then constructive fraud and fraud in the inducement. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. That's a tough one for me. Just certificate. Fraud, breach of contract, being is basically the things there. The counterclaim. So the Urdanettas / Monat Global Corp deny claim for everything almost. Wild. Counterclaim. Let's go over that. So then that starts on page 28. If you want to read along with me, make this a little sing along with a little bounce and bubble, little Disney vibes. Stu was terminated. They're claiming that Stu did not resign, that he was terminated as president of Monat as a result of his gross mismanagement and lack of professional judgment. Among other things, MacMillan was directly responsible for millions of dollars of business losses suffered by Monat over a multi-year period. Monat's owners, Daddy Monat and Baby Monat, had become increasingly concerned about MacMillan's repeated display of poor judgment, such as being under the influence at work events and disclosing Monat's confidential and proprietary information while inebriated. This is so messy. And obviously I don't know Stubert personally. I don't know if he, gets buck wild like this. He could, who knows? But it really seems like they're just trying to discredit him and be gross, Crazy, man. That sucks. That's so rude. It doesn't seem like he's that type of person. Again, I don't know him personally. And you can be a Christian and still be an alcoholic, but anyways. So ultimately they decided the company and its independent contractor Salesforce market partners should not suffer any further as a result of MacMillan's lack of self-awareness, business acumen, and sense of propriety. It's giving you breach of contract? Well, you're a drunk. Who are you? Marjorie Taylor Greene? What you doing? What? Yikes. The Erdenettas also learns that before and after his termination, MacMillan had been sowing seeds of discontent among Monat's market partners, customers, and employees behind the Erdenettas' back for years while pretending to protect and advance Monat's business interests. Is that what he was doing, or was he having conversations about y'all being not great? Yeah, but hey, go against the cult. You're apparently a not self-aware drunk, I guess. Backstabbing drunk, how dare you? Crazy. And then it says that he had a habit of making poor decisions and placed the blame on the Erdenettas to gain favor with the market partners. And then it says that MacMillan also leaked Monat's confidential information to some of Monat's highest ranking market partners and misrepresented the state of Monat's financial situation to create discord and unease in the field with a capital F, the field. Okay, and then it just goes on to basically just hype up the Erdenettas and say that, they're so revolutionary. They started Monat and came over from wherever the they're from. And the Erdenettas gave MacMillan a second chance despite his checkered employment history. And this is so strange because it's like, how are you going to try to poo-poo on his history when you're the one who hired him and worked with him for so long? Like, this makes no sense. So if you didn't know, Stu was the interim CEO for Telexfree, which was a multi-level marketing company purportedly selling voice-over internet telephone systems, and it was a Ponzi scheme. And fun fact, one of the founders of that company, James Merrill, pled guilty to criminal charges and was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. The other founder fled to Brazil and remained a fugitive there until his Brazilian citizenship was revoked, and he was ordered to be extradited to the US. Like I said, y'all, the top girl bosses, these people are fighting, and it's messy. So they're like, hey, you're a drunk and you are like, you got nefarious dealings. Safe to say that like the Erdenettas have taken off their earrings and their bracelets and have asked you to hold their stuff. It seems like they're about to break their nails in Stubert's eyeballs and his eye sockets. Crazy. During the last years of MacMillan's tenure as president, Monat experienced 3 years of plummeting losses and sale declines. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the absolute best time to join Monat. Is it not the best time to join Monat? Like, what are y'all doing? Oh, Lord. Like, even you can't say that's not true because like the owners of the companies are saying, I mean, it could be false, but like if the owners of the company are saying that, like the facts and the numbers are there unless they're just completely bluffing. But like, I love this so much. Like, it's a failing company. And there are top reps in this company still, as of yesterday. One of the girls, what's her Instagram name? Like Pixie something. She posted an Instagram live video, whatever, on her page that says like, why Monat? Why now? And it's like, can you not? Like, are you, like, how brainwashed are you? It's so crazy. So crazy. MacMillan's recklessness resulted in inventory control problems on a massive scale, widespread botched rollout of Monat's EU market. His ineptitude, oh, that's sad, caused the company to lose millions in connection with a costly IT project directly under his supervision that imploded. In 2022 alone, MacMillan was responsible for millions in business losses to Monat's bottom line, directly attributing to MacMillan's inattention, lack of organization, poor communication, and interpersonal skills, his leadership style that led to a toxic work environment, indecisiveness, narcissism, lack of accountability, unwillingness to change what was not working, poor time management, and unimpressive business. They really be, I mean, acumen is the word of the day. Stewart refused to acknowledge that he had anything to do with Monat's problems. Many times the Erdenettas had to step in to stop MacMillan from scuttling the ship. Someone used a thesaurus. Notwithstanding, love that. These facts, the Erdenettas continued to trust MacMillan and at least trying to act in the best interest of Monat. Unfortunately, they would later learn that this was not true. As president, approximately 80% of the company reported directly to MacMillan. From 2014 to 2022, MacMillan was in charge of nearly every department, including operations, HR, sales, marketing, IT, legal, commissions, and events. He also directly supervised Monat's international markets. MacMillan exercised control over all hiring decisions and most day-to-day decisions. I mean, that just makes me think that like what if he was in charge of all that and like had access to all of that, like makes me think that what he's saying is true. you know, because like, wouldn't he know then? And then they go on to say that when the company's not performing well, that because Stewart had a relationship with the market partners and was more like front facing than the Urdanettas were, that he was able to place blame on the Urdanettas instead of taking that responsibility for himself, allegedly, and that market partners believed him. And then just goes on more to talk about how he didn't want to take any responsibility, decisions regarding laying off employees and terminating market partners. At times, MacMillan exploited employees and market partners' faith, currying favor by saying that he was the only person at the company who ever prayed for them. I mean, obviously that's unethical. Don't do that. I mean, I don't think that your religion should, I don't think that the two should mix. And I personally think that it should be like your own business. Like that's no one else's business. Okay, so this is quite interesting. So it says, while serving as Monat's president, MacMillan began sabotaging Monat and its market partners. In May 2023, so a year ago, he began telling market partners that the company's in trouble and that he was trying to find investors to save the company. He told other market partners Monat had investors lined up to buy the company. And this is notable because Monat is a privately held family business and MacMillan was never asked to find investors. Nevertheless, MacMillan traveled to Tampa, Florida and to Puerto Rico to meet with potential investors without any knowledge of the Urdanettas or approval of the board. Notably, the company was not in financial trouble. I mean, it sounds like you were. And then it goes on to say that in hindsight, they believe that this was basically just him trying to manipulate market partners and, you know, create this narrative of like, I'm trying to save the company, we should leave. During the second quarter of 2023, he began leaking confidential information to Monat's highest ranking market partners about the potential sale of Monat to another direct sales company. MacMillan's loose lips are surprising given that he was the one bringing potential buyers to the Urdanettas, even though they never asked them to. Because the Urdanettas were not planning to sell Monat, the discussion with these potential buyers did not progress far, and no letter of intent was ever signed. And then apparently he was telling market partners that Monat was going under and that they should get a second income. So essentially the Urdanettas are claiming that low morale is not their fault, it's his fault. So trying to do classic lol, no, it's your fault. MacMillan progressively earned a reputation for spreading rumors and fueling fights between market partners. He regularly stirred the pot with his fellow executives, sowing distrust between them. He bragged about causing infighting and explaining that he thought creating rivals among market partners and executives would help to spur competition. So, you know, the girls be fighting. MacMillan gossiped and made fun of many of Monat's most respected market partners behind their backs, including comments about their physical appearance. Market partners had previously held him in high esteem, no longer believed him to be a role model. He presented on Monat's event stages and many left the events feeling embarrassed for him. This is all he said, she said. Like, do you have like actually show proof for this? Like, this is all he said, she said. It seems like what Stu presented was possibly all be backed up with like documentation and dated documentation and all that. And then this is just like, yeah, well, he's a drunk and no one respects him and he talks about people. So, you know, again, seems like it's just trying to discredit him. And it seems to me at least that this is more for the market partners to see than for like to try to benefit them in court. So this part's actually kind of funny. It says now that, like funny in like a petty way, like why you gotta do that? Now that MacMillan was going into retirement, Monat sincerely hoped that MacMillan would comply with the non-compete that he had requested years earlier. Monat even tried to make MacMillan's transition into retirement smooth and gave him stage time at Monat's annual market partner convention to say goodbye. He is 63 years old. If he had lived up to his word, demonstrated integrity, he has always espoused and honored his commitments and obligations under the non-compete, he would have received substantial compensation into his 70s. And it's like, okay, but in that non-compete, like it says he can't talk to certain people and like those are his friends. Non-competes are, I mean, quite unethical, but then also I understand a non-compete like while you're employed because like that is a conflict of interest, but then also like after you leave, no, that's not how that should work. That would be like me having Ethan, I would never do this, have him sign a non-compete that he, after editing for me, he can't edit for anyone else after. It's like, what? That's crazy. That's so crazy. Just pay the man the money. Like, just give him his money. I hope they settle. But either way, actually, I hope they don't settle. Like, for his sake, I hope they do. But then, like, for our sake, I hope they don't. So I hope it goes to discovery and, like, we have to see all this crazy because that would be amazing. Okay, so perhaps to avoid the public humiliation and shame of his termination, MacMillan has since told others that he was not terminated, but that he resigned. Public statements, however, are directly contradicted in his private communications with Monat, which he has acknowledged his termination, requesting such things as monthly advances of his post-termination profits, sharing in lieu of the severance that Monat pays to terminated employees. I mean, yeah, a little bit of contradiction there, but also, again, it's like, okay, private conversations, like, did y'all have this recorded? Like, do you have it like signed? Like, okay, Monat believed and still continues to believe that it was reasonable to ask MacMillan to stay out of direct sales and to leave Monat and its employees and its market partners undisturbed and undistracted in exchange for the substantial it agreed to in the non-compete. Unfortunately, MacMillan has refused to go quietly. Instead, he has continued to inflict damage on Monat and its market partners in the name of getting more than he is entitled to out of spite because of his painful termination. I mean, like, show proof, y'all. Like, what are you doing? Like, just that's all you got to do. Just show proof, please. And then it's also interesting that they're saying here that Monat's commission averages have never changed, and like the way they pay out commissions has never changed, which is really interesting. And then they mention the processing platform that they use for paying out commissions, but it's really strange that they're talking about that because multiple market partners have said, like, no, I used to make this. I'm not doing less work. I'm not, my performance is the same and I'm making less money. So, I mean, I feel like the numbers speak for themselves there. And I just find that really, really interesting. The reason for experiencing a decrease in commission is simple. Decreased sales volume leads to decreased revenue, which leads to decreased commissions. It's simple math. But again, multiple market partners have said and shown that they recruited the same amount of people, their downline did the same amount of work or more, and they made less money, if any. And then going further into that, it says that unfortunately, MacMillan has led numerous market partners off the cliff, spinning a yarn. This is poetic. Their lawyer, absolutely poetic. That's beautiful. Spinning a yarn that somehow Monat is tampering with individual market partners' commissions, even though he knows that that is not possible. That is possible. It's absolutely possible. You just change the commission plan. Like, once again, he's exploiting whatever remaining credibility he has, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, and then they talk about the ingredients. So it seems like one of the main, or some of the main things that people were like asking hard questions and not getting answers and being gaslit, whatever, like the top people have said, is about the commissions and about the ingredients. And so this says, MacMillan also began to tell market partners that he had to resign in protest because of the Urdaneta's decision to water down Monat's products and substitute quality ingredients for cheaper ones. This is false. The active ingredients in Monat's products have not changed since its founding. Certain trace ingredients have occasionally been substituted for better ingredients. How are are they cheaper? Are they better? Are they more affordable? What's the difference? MacMillan knows that his statements are false and cause confusion, yet he still propagates them. Indeed, he was directly involved in Monat's manufacturing and formula development process for years and has personal knowledge of Monat's work with Pfeiffer Consulting to obtain its certification. Well, I mean, obviously, he worked there, duh. I would assume that he would have, had a hand in that. But that does, just because you have the certification doesn't mean that you're not using, that you're not changing ingredients. And the ingredient lists have changed, haven't they? Per the website, I feel like this is just gaslighting me and its market partners, which sucks. But also that's a cult. Okay, so then they go on to say he said we created a cult or a mafia within the company. MacMillan has told market partners that the reason the company is not profitable is because the company can't stop spending money. To others, he's implied that the Urdanetas are buying expensive cars and sailing on yachts with company money while discussing the layoff of Monat employees. Let me tell you about the Urdaneta family yacht. Baby, that ain't a yacht. That is a super yacht. But MacMillan knew that these types of scandalous statements were untrue, but he made them anyways. He knows that Monat's financials are audited by one of the top 10 accounting firms in the world, BDO. He sat on Monat's audit committee for years, attending BDO's presentation for their audits and had complete access to Monat's financials. But the thing is that the Urdanetas are a family business. They own the company. I mean, family business. That makes it sound like it's small. It's obviously not. It's a huge company. It is owned by a family though. And it's crazy that the tax loopholes and stuff that you can get away with, right? If you own a company and you and your spouse or whoever, but you and your spouse are on the board of directors, you can basically have I'm not an accountant. This is not advice. Do not do this. But you can basically have a board retreat paid for by your company once a year. So like our family vacation once a year, it will be paid for. We also like don't travel right now because we have a baby, but we've done that I think twice before. There's a lot of different tax loopholes and it's like, is it legal? Yeah, sure. But like, are they being sketchy? Yeah. In my opinion, they are. Okay, MacMillan's statements defy logic. Oh, here we go. The Urdanettas are entitled to distributions from the company because it belongs to them. That's true. And it is surprising that MacMillan would make these false claims when it was MacMillan's uncontrolled expenses that resulted in most of Monat's historical losses. If there are problems with Monat's expenses, they arose from MacMillan's mismanagement, not the Urdanettas spending their own money. Indeed, MacMillan knows that Monat has recognized over $3 billion in revenue since its founding. And yes, that's an impressive figure, but the Urdanettas have limited their distributions from Monat, instead reinvesting Monat's profits to grow its infrastructure, improve its data platform and back office and distribution centers, open new markets, and host field events. Which is interesting because a lot of market partners have said that over the past 3 or 4 years, the events have been like so toned down and so like not good. Like corners have been cut, it seems like is what they've said. And then it continues on saying that MacMillan has told Monat leadership that the best way to get him to go away is to just pay him. Obviously, that's literally what this entire thing's about. Had expressly indicated that he planned to start or join a competing direct sales business and to find a home for Monat's employees and market partners. And this should come as no surprise given that he has been challenged for being duplicitous. He admitted that he is willing to bend the truth to protect his public image. This part's interesting too because it says in June 2023, Monat considered terminating MacMillan, but ultimately chose not to. And that decision was based on baby Urdanetta's longtime close personal relationship with him. I mean, it sounds like you hated him, but he doesn't sound like you were super close. And that the Urdanettas didn't want to hold grudges or have a lawsuit and wanted to have him save face. However, Monat had more than enough reasons to terminate him. It's just, again, I feel like they're just sprinkling in so much. It's just like well, you're a drunk. We wanted to fire you a long time ago, blah, blah, blah. So that is going to be it for the update on all of this. Again, I have reached out multiple times to multiple parties involved in all of these lawsuits for statements. I've received a good old no comments from people, which I completely understand. That's fine. I am going to try to, talk with people off the record and all that. Y'all will obviously not know if I'm talking with people off the record because that's off the record. And yeah, so just keep that in mind and I'll keep you up to date on all of this. It's truly, truly craziness and so petty and wild. And I just love that they're literally saying apparently allegedly this is my understanding of these documents, that basically Monat has been in the shit for the last 2 years and is not financially doing well currently and has lost millions of dollars. And yet we still have money. It's not funny, guys. It's sad. And yet we still have money market partners who were best time to join is now. Guys, do not board the sinking ship, please. I hate to say I told you so, but girly pop, we been told you so. If y'all want super up-to-date information and don't want to wait for information and to have to wait for me to put out a video, because obviously information will come out usually 2 or 3 days later. I'd say 2 business days later, I'll have a video out. But follow Detective Lovey on Instagram and then follow the MLM Boss Babe as well. They are great. They're super helpful. They put out information super, super quick. So typically will send it to me too, or tag me in and I'll always reshare it. We are the iceberg, okay? So keep doing what you can to sink these disgusting ships and be that iceberg, baby. Remember that your butt looks good. Please don't fall for this cult. And listen, if you girly pop, girl boss, hustle, girl boss babe. If you are in money, let's be honest, you're not watching this video, but if you are and you're thinking about getting out or really confused about all this information, consider the source and what does that source of the information, what do they have to gain by you leaving? Or what do they have to lose by you leaving, right? I don't have anything to gain or lose by you leaving money or by you staying in. It doesn't affect me at all. But it does affect your upline who is going to be controlling the information that you receive and trying to manipulate you into staying. Don't do that. You deserve better. than being in a commercial cult, which it is in my opinion. Also, please leave down below if you want me to read over the cease and desist that Monat sent me, what was it, 2-3 years ago? Also, I did ask multiple people in these situations on like the other side who was responsible for like those internal systems and stuff being leaked, and I got a no comment with a winky face from multiple people, which is, I love that. It's so funny. If you want to watch that video, I'll have the link down below. It'll also be on like the end card of this video. Share that video, please. After they sent that cease and desist, I was very stressed. I was like, I think I was pregnant when they sent it. That might have been the pregnancy right before the pregnancy with Bean, the one that we lost. One of the many. Anyways, so I was super stressed, didn't want to deal with it, but I got the time, the delusion, the pettiness. They got too much on their hands right now. It's a sinking ship. I am excited. I put it back up. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment, your butt looks good, and I'll see you in my next video. Comment a nail emoji down below if you made it this far. Okay, bye.